people should watch the ALAP West Hollywood Pride Reading Festival, because these are stories about identities. These are stories in a specific community that deserves to be heard. These are voices beyond my own. These are voices and people and experiences that deserve the limelight and deserve to be seen and heard, and will undoubtedly sort of shine a light onto different aspects of the queer human experience. And I think that those stories are stories that deserve to be heard and deserve to be told. So to have this platform for all of us means that we are definitely going to be, I think I can safely say for all the other writers, we're going to be, giving it our best swing, and we're going to be putting our best foot forward 100%. And you don't want to miss that. Hi, my name is Ryan Stevens, and if you would like to hear me talk a little bit about my script, The Resurrectionist, and its place in the Alliance of Los Angeles Playwrights West Hollywood Pride Reading Festival, be sure to stick around for this conversation. I first heard about the ALAP Pride Reading Festival a few months ago when the opportunity was posted on the site, and as surprising probably no one, it's been a heck of a year for theater makers and theater artists. It's been a bit of a dry spell for opportunities of any sort, virtual and especially not in person. And I do appreciate that the Pride reading is still going to be virtual for safety. But I knew I wanted to be a part of it, one, because I really was eager to get back in the flow of Los Angeles theater, eager to get back in that space and be visible there again after a year and change away, as we all have had. And I also, as a queer person, I think it's super important to, tell queer stories and write stories about, LGBTQIA plus identities in a way that is sincere and open for the world to see. And I think the Pride Reading project as a whole is indicative of that and is in service of that visibility. And beyond visibility, actually having artists with this identity, not just writers, but actors and directors as well, getting the chance to put in the work and create these queer stories, which was very important to me. My script, The Resurrectionist, is a love story between a living woman and a dead woman who is just sort of sat up in her grave one day, and that is where the play starts. The idea initially came because I just wanted to write a love story. I had never just written a straight up romance before, and I thought, well, how do I make it interesting to me? And a friend of mine said something that was to the effect of every good love story is kind of a ghost story, because it's about other people's ideas of each other, and it's about the unfinished business we have with people who are in our lives. And that sort of turned around in my head for a while, and I was like, well, a ghost is one thing, but what if it was a living dead person? And then that sort of opened up the whole thing. And the more I got to work on it, the more I realized that it's not just about this zombie romance. It's also about realizing that a part of your life has changed, and it's about identity and how we define ourselves and how we sort of can transition from one part of our life to another. And I think as queer people, that's something that is very relatable, and that's something that a lot of us have had to consider at one time or another in our lives. Is am I still the person I used to be? When did that change happen? And to what degree have I changed? And those themes of transformation and life as this process compelled me to keep working on the script and make sure that I kept submitting it and finishing it, as it were. So The Resurrectionist begins with a woman named Kit, who is a gravedigger for a living. She digs up bodies for scientific research. She is fairly kept to herself. Turns out being a gravedigger does not do wonders for your social life. One evening, she is digging up a body that wakes up and begins talking to her, and the two of them have a instant connection, and that is where we sort of begin our story as Kit tries to find a way to make a connection with this person she feels a fundamental need to connect to, and Audrey, the resurrected person, tries to figure out what it means to be alive again and what kind of life she wants to live on this sort of second try. I think I want audiences to get a sense of hope from the Resurrectionists, not just in a general capital H way, but a sense of personal hope that wherever you are in your life, you still have time to be the person you want to be, or to discover what that person you might want to be is. We don't need to always have answers, and we can just let life show us the way sometimes. I also think that I want people to leave with a sense of romantic hope and romantic validation, and the notion that, you know, finding the right person is an admirable thing to pursue. During the Pride Reading Festival, I'm very excited to hear and see, as sort of cliche as it might sound, all of the plays. But what I mean by that is I'm eager to hear and see how queer writers have been responding to life in the most recent year. That's not to say that any of these scripts even have to literally tackle it, but I think after the year we've all had, it is going to be present in the room regardless. So I'm excited to hear how all these other voices and how all these other actors and directors are diving back into theater again after our extended hiatus, after this extremely long intermission we sort of had. And I am also extremely excited to hear just what kind of stories we are choosing to tell as we enter this sort of strange new era that we are all finding ourselves in. And I am absolutely honored beyond coherent words to be the full-length reading offering for the West Hollywood Pride Festival reading. It means a ton that the Alliance of Los Angeles Playwrights believes in the script enough for it to support its own reading and be the full length that they've chosen. It's an extremely enormous vote of confidence and extremely gratifying for all the time and energy that has gone into the script. And you don't want to miss that. I think more voices need to be heard in the theater world because more voices exist in the world. It is necessary for every person who has a seat at the table in real life, and by the way, more diverse people should have seats at the table in real life, but they should also be able to be reflected in fiction, because specifically for something like queer people or trans people, that is often a process, and people might not know exactly where they fit in the world and where they fit with themselves. And the more that they can see the possibilities of the self, the more that they can see the different stripes of life, the more that they can possibly be able to consider and explore the possibilities of their own selves. And anything that can help more people be comfortable within their own skin is a net good and a necessity as a society. An audience must come see these readings for the ALAP West Hollywood Pride Reading Festival, because these are going to be the next phase of whatever happens in theater. This is a crucial moment, sort of theatrical history, or in the cultural moment for American theaters and for LA theater, in what sort of shows are we going to be doing next. So if you want to see a sort of bellwether for what's to come, for who knows how many years to come, this is an excellent indication of which way the wind is blowing, and you do not want to miss that. I'm playwright Ryan Stevens. If you enjoyed hearing me talk about my play and want to see the readings for all of these scripts for the ALAP West Hollywood Pride Festival, be sure to go to the ALAP website to learn more and watch both readings on the 26th and 27th.